Our sales have gone up $8.2 million so far through the end of third quarter, which is a 20.3% increase from last year. So a year ago, I had a 16-member sales team. Today, I have 2 of those people still remaining on my team. So I meet with them every single week and make sure that they're doing Google reviews, and we have 16 different locations on Google My Business, so we have a lot of locations to get reviews for. In the last 30 days, we have, between all of those locations, just under 200 Google reviews, and but I force them to do a certain number every single week. And so they saw the people who were there have heard from the people, or the people who are there heard from the people who used to be there, that when we started getting more Google reviews, we started having more people come in the doors. And actually our traffic in our models is way up. And if you look behind the scenes on insights, you can see where people are clicking on driving directions and showing up at our models because of Google reviews.
Ready to buy.
And they're ready to buy. Yeah, they're convinced before they get there. When we hit 100, it seemed like it was a tipping point on our main page, that at 100, the customers were convinced before they came in that they wanted a home from us. The other thing was, at first I started by just doing the group interview when I needed somebody. And then it seemed like the more and more I held people accountable, the more and more I needed somebody all the time. So a really cool meeting that happened is one of the people that I most recently fired, who was demanded a meeting with Glenn Shaw to complain about the Thrive method of doing things, and that we had turned over 31 people in 2 years. He had counted, and he had gone and gotten transcripts from all of them to share with Mr. Shaw about how horrible the Thrive way doesn't work. And so as he sat down to start explaining this, he's like, well, let me just explain that system doesn't work and there's been so much turnover. And Glenn goes, let me just stop you right there. The last 3 years have all been record-setting years for us, both in volume and profitability. So that argument isn't going to fly right here. So did you have something else you wanted to talk about? I'm going to throw one more thing in here that you didn't ask about, but that was really relevant for me. And that is, I feel like what we do is super specialized. When I first came in here, I was like, but you don't understand, our business is different. I know you guys have all heard this, right? You don't understand, our business is different. This is so specialized. There's so much training that needs to go into this. And I never in a million years thought that I could get people to like sell homes right away that hadn't been here for a year going through intensive training. And the interesting part of it is we just hired a couple of people who have never done this, don't know what they're doing, plugged them into the system. One of them did 1.5 million in sales his first 30 days, which is just nuts. And he's never done this before. The other one was like 1.2 million in 30 days. And we've sold with tons of brand new people. By the way, while I was out of town in Alaska for 2 weeks, we sold in 60 days, we sold 46 houses. Yeah, so that was the part about like them having to be like so proficient in what we do. I thought they needed to know everything about the entire company and all the massive amounts of data and charts and stuff we have. But interestingly, if I just give them 4 things they need to talk about in each home on a 1-sheet, and then what we call the path, which explains how to buy a home. And I literally make them read the bullet points while pointing to each bullet point on this chart. The customer completely understands how to buy a home from us. And then we created what we call the John Kelly method of pricing out the customer. Thanks to John, kudos, for the pricing out of the home, which was like the most complicated part because you needed to know everything about how a home is built. Well, you no longer do. It's just literally a PowerPoint where they read what's on every slide as they go through this slideshow. And it literally asks them the question, do you want this or this? This is how this works. Do you want this or this? And they don't need to know anything. The one thing you know, the phrase, first you nail it, then you scale it. Like, I already had all the information in my brain. It was more of a thing of like putting it all down on paper. And it really helped, like, having John live to talk to, because he had just been through our old process. And so he was like, I can't picture what you're talking about. You're trying to describe to me what crown molding on top of these windows looks like, and I don't have a picture in front of me. I can't see it. So it was a delegation of getting all these photos brought together. But then literally what Clay said is write down exactly what you would say, and then make them say what you would say, but you have it all written down. And so that part was pretty easy, although it took a little bit of time. The content was easy, and I think for most people, if they're like, they come from the place of being a technician in their business and now they're trying to be the business owner, they should be able to take that technician information and just translate it down. You might need to be the person who kind of steers the ship a little bit if they do kind of not know how to like communicate well or something.
I had one more thought.
Well, and I also started to realize it actually really doesn't matter that much what your website looks like. It just matters if it gets found. I mean, and then what your no-brainer is. Like, those are the things
And you put
that
Lucky
really
Orange
matter.
on your site. Where do people spend their time on your site?
They only go to, we had all these different things they could go do, and we found out of like the 10 things they could do, they only looked at move-in ready available homes and the photo gallery, and that was it.
Wow.
They didn't go anywhere else, and they never went below the fold, ever.
Never
like,
scroll down.
Never scroll down.